Yes, sir. Back once again. It is your boy Rome here with my man Bryce. This is Hell to the Culture. I know y'all out there probably like, man, where the hell these two been, man? These two good for maybe one or two podcasts on the Commanders a year. Look, I promise you once again, this will be a consistent thing on Mondays. We will go live and we will chop up the Commanders talk for all you loyal listeners out there, man. So definitely stick with us this time. You see, I'm in the whip. We definitely gonna make it work. Not ideal conditions, still had to make it work. Uh, Bryce, man, intro. Let them know who you are. What's up? What's going down? And then we'll get into this Bengals Commanders Monday Night Football game because we got a lot to talk about.
Yes, sir. At Bryce XXV Follow me on all social media platforms. Yeah. We've launched this podcast a couple times. The original HTTC before it was Commanders, back when it was still Redskins. We was hailed to the culture, so we're bringing it back. Let's get into it, man. Excited to talk about this Week 3 matchup versus the Bengals.
Right. So let's before we jump into the week 3 matchup exactly, let's just catch everybody up where we are. Last time we had this podcast, Jaden Daniels is not a commander. So let's start right there. We finally have our franchise quarterback, Bryce? Would you agree with that?
Man, I mean, if we're being all the way honest, it's still too early to tell. But early returns, I like what I see. I like his poise. I like the fact that he's taking care of the football. The next question will be, can we turn this into points, and can we start to see him develop a little more on the passing side of things? I think he's got the potential, and I think he'll reach it eventually. But of course, I'm biased, and if we're being truthful, 100% truthful, we can't be sure yet, but I'm on the hopeful side. I'm optimistic.
I agree with that there, man. All the signs this summer have pointed to him being a franchise QB. His demeanor, his work ethic, the leadership skills, and now we're just waiting for it to translate onto the field. The first two games, I wouldn't say he looked bad. I would actually say he's looked like the best rookie quarterback of his class so far. But tonight might be a big step in that. I don't think Bo Nix has thrown any touchdowns. Caleb's thrown two so far. Jaden has yet to throw one in the air. I'm thinking tonight, my man goes 200 yards, two passing TDs. You can put that down on your FanDuel. What you think about that?
Oh, okay. Wrong. Talking spicy. I like that. I like that. If you can give me two passing tuds and we can get McLaurin involved, I'd like it even more. There's been a lot of talk of, McLaurin getting involved, and I feel like that should be Jaden Daniels' safety blanket. You know what I mean? I feel like he's yet to find that outside of passing to the run game. So I'm looking for Jaden Daniels to find that safety blanket. That's what I want to see the most out of Jaden tonight. Is it Noah Brown who seemed to emerge last week a little bit? Will it be Terry McLaurin? Will it be Austin Eckler out the backfield? Who knows? But I think the sooner he finds that go-to guy that he can rely on the most in the offense, the sooner we see Jaden get more comfortable with his passing ability. 2 touchdowns, I'd love to see that, especially considering he hasn't got his first one yet. But I can see 200 yards through the air pretty easily. I think I think we're going to see his pass yards through the air increase before we see the touchdowns start to really stack up.
Yeah, most definitely. I think this game specifically will give them. Well, I'm hoping that Cliff Kingsbury will give him the opportunity to really use his arm and to air that ball out. In the draft leading up to the whole process, a lot was talked about how Jaden is a pass first quarterback. Yes, he has all the skills like Lamar. He can run, do all those fancy things as we've already seen. But a lot was said about his arm talent and how he processes the field. So I'm hoping they give him more of a chance to do that. He's kind of bailed out a little early on some of his reads and used his legs a little too soon. But that's to be expected with a rookie quarterback with that type of talent. But I think tonight specifically, the offense starts to click and gets in a rhythm. I think they put up 28 to 30 points. I don't know if that's enough to get it done. We'll talk about the defense here in a second. But to your safety blanket point, I think that guy's going to be Austin Eckler. I think Eckler has a big day out of the backfield today. He's already been a man on fire. Hopefully, he can be our touchdown guy. When he was with the Chargers, he was getting a tud like almost every game, it felt like. So hopefully, he can get back on a streak like that here in DC. And what's my guy Terry, man, the lack of involvement in the early beginning of the season, it's become a staple, right? So I can't say that I'm worried. I feel like there was a lot of panic on Twitter, X, whatever. Everybody started talking about his blocking skills all of a sudden. That's how I know we're too early into the season. If y'all are on X or Twitter talking about Terry's not a good enough blocker because of the slow start, you're hitting the panic button way too soon. The big plays and the money plays will come. Him and Jaden will definitely start to click. But yeah, man, obviously there's a lot going on that offense. But I think one guy we both got to talk about before we move to the defense is Brian Robinson.
Yeah. And before I get to Brian Robinson, I want to piggyback on your points about Jaden, man, and how it goes twofold with Jaden because I think they do got to give him some opportunities to push the ball down the field. And one thing I want to see Jaden start to improve on is he's leaving the pocket, but I want to see him, when he leaves the pocket to remain a passer. And I think when when he's leaving the pocket, it's like instantly to run. And I'd like to see him look down the field as he escapes the pocket because there's big plays to be had, especially with the defense keying in on him as he starts to escape. But B Rob, man, he's really shown up this season. He went through had the unfortunate circumstance of getting shot, and I think that although he was technically 100% recovered, I think getting some of that muscle memory might have taken longer than expected. And I feel like now he's really he's really coming back into his own. I think B Rob is, at this point, he's been the MVP of the offense, right? He's
Yes.
been all reliable. And, I feel like he goes over 80 yards today against the Bengals. The Bengals are a team that have, they've succumbed to the run this season. As good as their pass rush has proven to be, they've succumbed to the run. I think they've got a couple of their big D tackles out. I think Reader's out tonight, so
Yep.
I think we're in a good spot right there if we want to feed B Rob early and often. And I actually put a parlay in that. I put a nice little rushing parlay. B Rob over 80 yards rushing, Eckler over 25 rushing, and Jaden Daniels over 25 rushing, and parlay them
I like
together.
that.
I feel like it could be a big game on the ground tonight.
Yeah, I truly believe the offense all around, for lack of a better word, is going to explode tonight. Pause. I think Jaden and the gang is going to go crazy tonight. I'm really hoping. My concern though definitely kicks in on the defensive side of the ball. Now I know the Bengals are 0-2. I know they've been struggling, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Bryce. I put this game down as an L the second that the Bengals lost to the Patriots because I'm looking at the schedule, right? And we all know how the script makers go. Bengals lose to the Patriots, upset win. Should have won that game. Pretty sure the Bengals were at home. Then they go on to play the Chiefs. Big primetime game. Lose a close game to the Chiefs. They've been missing T. Higgins. He's back tonight. Jamar Chase has all this drama with a contract. Now, I could be wrong, but in the old days, this would spell a complete blowout disaster for the Washington Redskins, then football team. I'm hoping that the Commanders turn a new leaf and don't have a primetime embarrassing moment where your pants falls in front of the nation. And I don't think that that's going to happen, but I do think the defense will struggle mightily against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for us as a Commanders fan not to be nervous about a big time receiver whenever we on, especially on a prime time scale. Like it's hard not to get nervous about that. And I feel your pain as a Skins fan. If you've been going through it all week, worried about Joe Burrow and company haven't shown much all season. As soon as they play us, they become superstars, right? I am worried about that. I'm nervous about that. And our best hope is that our offense has this breakout game that we've been, on the precipice of having now, it seems, for a couple weeks, right? And but I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous, man. And it's gonna come down to defense. Joe Witt has talked this good game in the offseason, right? And are we going to be able to stop those big name receivers, Rome? I know you're not too high on our cornerback corpse right now. You know what I'm saying?
Not at
But
all.
Benjamin St. Juice is out there, and I've got faith in BSJ, bro. I rock with the
That
celebration.
celebration
I
is
know
is
everybody be hating
god
on the
awful,
BSJ
bro.
Celly, man. Shout out to BSJ. Um, but I like him against Higgins a lot more than I like him against Chase. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I think him versus Higgins could be a nice little matchup. I think Jamar Chase eats tonight. That's another. Now, if you want to throw that in a parlay, 100 yards for Jamar Chase, might have that halfway through the third quarter. Um, Again, the way the Commanders, the main key to the Commanders' victory is going to be offense scoring points. But I would say the second key, defense has to come up with a timely turnover. A lot is going to be in the Dan Quinn and Joe Witt's game plan and how they call it, because talent-wise, it's a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah, that's a good point. And what are they going to lean on in the defensive scheme tonight, right? I thought it was interesting to see Jamin Davis get the healthy scratch last week after being the only commander with a sack this season. And I'm interested to see what they do with that D line this week. I think we've seen a lack of pressure this first 2 weeks that puts even more pressure on our back end to perform. And we already know we're weak there, but our strength is supposed to be up the middle, right? Middle linebackers, interior defensive line. We got to get some middle push tonight, man. I haven't seen much from the rookie Johnny Newton. I know you watched the All 22 pretty consistently, Ron. What are you thinking from this interior D line early? Payne, Allen, and the rookie Johnny Newton. What do you expect tonight?
So Newton specifically, I think he was on a pitch count last game, only got like 15, 20 snaps. I think the more he plays, obviously he's a rookie too. He didn't get much time in the summer. So he's really just trying to get acclimated, I would say. But as far as Allen and Payne, it's not that they've played bad, but once you get that bag that they've both gotten, we need impact plays from not one of you, but both of you. So we're on a prime time scale tonight. For some reason, whenever I see a graphic with the Commanders, it's either Jaden, Terry, or Jonathan Allen. And as a longtime Commanders fan, I mean, no disrespect to Jonathan Allen, great player, one of the best in the league, in my opinion. But I'm getting kind of sick of seeing this man as one of the faces of my team when the impact just isn't his impact isn't face of the team impact. You know what I mean? He creates a lot, especially when you throw in the all 22. Makes it a little easier for a Bobby Wagner and a Frankie Louvo to make the plays. But again, you got the bag. You're in all the graphics on ESPN and NFL Network. I need a sack. I need a fumble. I need 2, 3 tackles behind the line. Set them up in third, second, and long something from Payne and Allen. They can't just have run of the mill good games. I need impact. I think that's what Commanders fans and that defense needs.
Yeah, now I'm with you, man. We need more from that interior D line. They need to be the ones that's leading the charge on the defense. And honestly, I haven't seen anything from the pass rush this season. The pass rush has been pathetic, and it worries me, wrong. That's a big concern of mine. I saw a report like random ESPN rumor mill type stuff saying the Commanders are searching for a receiver by the deadline. We need to be searching for some pass rush by the deadline because the pass rush is non-existent from the outside.
Yeah, and that was the honestly, man, I'm surprised they didn't do more with the whole defensive roster. That's why I think I tweeted earlier. If the Commanders can find a way to keep the Bengals under 24 points at home tonight, I'm gonna write in Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. for president and vice president of the United States because they work in magic. If they can get this secondary to hold this Bengals defense, they could probably do anything because the roster itself, from the pass rushers to the corners, those are all mid-level guys. And I mean no disrespect to no pro athletes. They made it to the league, you know what I'm saying? They got talent, but at the league level, at the NFL level, those are all mid-level guys. A lot of these dudes would be backups on the other 32 teams or the other 31 teams. So to even expect the pass rush to be more than mid or the cornerback play to be more than mid is asking a lot.
Yeah, good point. But at the end of the day, it's what they chose as an organization, so they better show something with it or have some explaining to do, right?
No, and I'm glad you said have some explaining to do because one of the big free agent signings that I've been disappointed in has been Jeremy Chin. They brought my man in. They got Derek Forrest inactive, and Chin, much like Payne and Allen, you're just not making the impact, bro. Like what? Like somebody on the defense is gonna have to come up with a turnover in some type of way, a momentum shifting play, or this game might get ugly.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about a couple players on each side of the ball that we think have to show up big today for the Commanders to get the win. A few not too long before game time, so we're gonna get out of here in a second. But let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Rome, who do you think on the defensive end of the football has to show up today for the Commanders to get the dub?
The two people I was talking about earlier, the defensive tackles, Allen and Payne. The Bengals, they got a pretty decent offensive line. I think the guards in the center don't match up too great against Allen and Payne. So they can disrupt Joe Burrow, who we know isn't the most mobile guy. They can disrupt him up the middle with that middle pressure, have him run out. Frankie Louvo and those linebackers can easily chase him down. So for me, if the Commanders are going to create turnovers and win this game, it's going to start on defense with Payne and Allen.
All right, I like that. One person I'm gonna go with on defense, because and I'm going back to my point earlier, man. If you're a longtime Commanders fan, Skins fan, what have you, you know that games like this, prime time, we get embarrassed. We've got the tendency to get embarrassed, and we get embarrassed early. And oftentimes off the rip, I'm talking first play, second play, third play. Usually, you know what happens? It's first play, second play, third play. You know what happens? It's a long bomb for a touchdown. So I'm hoping Quan Martin playing center field doesn't let up no long bombs for a touchdown in the first quarter. And if we can do that, I will feel good. I'll be like, all right, cool. We're not getting blown out on prime time. You feel me? So that's what I'm gonna go with on the defensive side of the football. You got another one, or are you gonna stick with just those two?
Quan was my secondary guy. I think Quan has to have a strong game. I'm hoping that they don't play too much man. They played a lot of man this season, which is strange to me because, like I was saying, I don't think they really have the talent to do that. So I'm hoping they switch it up to some more zone coverages. But we'll see tonight.
All right, let's move to the offensive side of the football, man. Offense. Who on the offensive side has to show up tonight for the Commanders to get a dub?
I mean, this was kind of obvious. It's Terry McLaurin. If the Commanders are going to win this game, Terry's got to be involved in some type of way. Whether he has multiple catches, multiple yards, or just a late game catch to shift momentum, Terry's got to be involved.
I like that. I like that. And Terry was my first choice. And my second choice is kind of a tandem here. But where have my rookie playmakers been? We drafted these rookie playmakers. I'm talking about Luke McCaffrey, Ben Sinnott, and they got me hyped for them all offseason, reading the storylines from training camp, following the draft headlines about who we drafted, things like that. And I was hyped for Luke McCaffrey and Ben Sinnott. And the tape showed me. The tape gave me reason to be hyped, but they've been MIA through 2 games this season. The only thing I can talk about Ben Simmons is he had a penalty that took us away from an easy goal line touchdown. And then when I think about Luke McCaffrey, nothing really comes to mind because he hasn't really done nothing. So I need something from my rookies tonight. And I think if they give us a little extra push, we get the dub. Rome, got anything else for us before we close out?
No, I like that pick though. I'd like to see something from Luke McCaffrey myself.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. All right, cool, man. Well, this was a cool little pregame session. We got about 20 minutes for the game, so get your drinks, get your food, get ready to watch a Commanders W. Hey, Rome, before we go, man, score prediction. What you got?
I'm gonna go Bengals with the dub, 31-28 in a fun game.
Oh man, you going with a high scoring matchup. Hey, I'm going against the grain tonight. I'm going with the Skins. Skins get the victory, 24-20. Jaden Daniels coming out party against Joe Burrow. He takes the torch from the guy that he succeeded at LSU. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited for the game though, man.
yeah. I almost forgot, man. They both came from the LSU. That LSU element will play a factor. I think Jaden is gonna be very locked in for this game. If you've heard him talk about replacing Joe at LSU, that was something that was very meaningful to him. So watch for Jaden to have a big game tonight.
Yeah, let's get a JD5 coming out party, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. You know how we end it, man. Hail to the culture.
Helps to the culture.